translation can take you away from reality. The way things or texts are translated, it might change the meaning of the real text. Today we have the pleasure to have with us Dr. Sarah Naggar. She is assistant teacher in the American University in Cairo and the Cairo University as well, Islamic presenter to non-Muslims. And this is something very important to talk about today. Hello, doctor.
Hello, how are you doing?
Fine. Hello, doctor.
Hello.
You're an Islamic presenter for non-Muslims. Would you tell me more about the first things that you present for the non-Muslims about our religion?
Actually, this is a very important question.
Mhm.
Maybe the first thing I present by doing and not saying. It's actions, not preaching, you
Mhm.
know. I might seem like a role model
Yes.
that this is a Muslim girl, an ordinary Muslim girl, who is doing some presentations, who is just acting like a normal guy, enjoying my life, watching cinema, watching movies. This is the first thing they see and they watch and actually they observe me doing.
Mhm.
After that, after they see my behaviors with them, how I treat them, how I talk to them in a simple way, they want to ask more and they want to know more about what is Islam
Yes.
and how it wouldn't actually prevent me or stop me from just enjoying my life and living like any normal person.
Mhm.
So you tackled something very important, that away from reading or to understand deep more, but it all depends upon the way I'm acting about my behavior so that you can attract me to something that I don't know about. How do you see the situation right now?
Actually, your question is very interesting to me because this is actually what we need now. We need now to represent the real essence of Egyptians, whether Muslims or Christians. We are not Muslims, we are not Christians, we are Egyptians.
I'm talking about both, of course.
Yeah, that's it. So we need to go back to the way we used to treat each other, the way that we were brought up in our schools. For example, in my school, it was I don't know what they say, but it's something like a school with a Christian administration or something like that.
Yes.
I remember very well that we as kids used to attend the Christians' feasts and festivals in a small chapel in our school, and our friends used to attend our occasions in a small mosque in our school as well. So this is
I
how we
lived
were
this
brought.
experience here.
Yeah. So this is how we were brought actually. So there is nothing called a Muslim or a Christian. It's an Egyptian. So this is what we need, just to deal with you as a human being, as my neighbor, as my classmate, as my friend, as my intimate friend actually, forgetting about the idea or the religion idea.
Doctor, the citizenship is actually an important concept in Islam. Would you tell me more about the definition of it in the Islamic context?
All of us know that in the days of Prophet Muhammad والسلام, people were there in his own society or in the community around Prophet Muhammad. There were Muslims, Christians, and Jews. And he was dealing, Prophet, peace be upon him, he was dealing with them actually in a normal way, in a neutral way, in a non-differential way. He weren't, let's say, discriminating. His neighbor, peace be upon him, was a Jew. And he was just maybe just like visiting him. When the guy was sick, Prophet Muhammad was just treating him as any Muslim. He wishes him a speedy recovery, and he was dealing with him as a neighbor, not a Jew. That's it.
Sometimes the lack of understanding, maybe just as I mentioned at the beginning, due to the translation, for example, or the way each person understands the text itself, might take him to be an extremist, for example. And accordingly, he might make many fatal mistakes. Like, for example, not greeting the Christians, for example, vice versa. A lot of things. How do you read this, and how can we overcome this?
We can overcome this by the right understanding. What you said actually is very important. It's very much important to have this type of, let's say, correct understanding of Islam. As a Muslim, I believe in all the previous prophets. I believe in Muhammad, I believe in Jesus, I believe in Moses, and I believe in Abraham. This is, let's say, the real basic of my creed as a Muslim. So since I believe in them, since I have in my Quran, in my book, a whole chapter or a whole verse or a whole surah which is entitled as Maryam or Maryam. This is because of Islam is honoring Maryam. Actually, Islam allows the Muslim.
And actually, she was very special to Islam.
Yeah. Islam allows the Muslim guy to get married to a Christian, to get married to a Jewish, and that means he's gonna take care of her all of his life, since she can be the mother of his children. So how come that we are not celebrating with them, that we are not congratulating them, that we are differentiating in treatment? This is not logical. This is not Islam.
Well, Doctor, what are the other social practices that we practice in our daily lives in the society that can actually be against the Islamic teachings and cause problems in the society on the long term?
Maybe one of them, the important social misbehaviors that leads to differentiation is that, for example, in some simple areas, in some simple districts, you find that might be Christians go to buy from the Christian shop and Muslims go to buy from the Muslim shop. This is because there is something real that disappeared these days. So I guess that the most important thing is just to spread awareness among simple areas, among simple people, that this is not Islam and this is not Christianity, by the way. But the real thing is that we are all humans, we never differentiate.
From your own point of view, nowadays we have many clashes taking place in the society. People claim that these clashes are because of religion, but on the contrary, most of us believe that it has to do with the political status and just fighting for posts in general and absolute power. How do you read this from your own point of view?
Actually, I really dislike this because I hate to, maybe I'm not that good in using the word hate, but what I really dislike is that the idea of politicizing religion. This is totally wrong. Religion is that special relationship between me and God, and this should reflect or should be reflected upon the treatment with people. Politics has nothing to do. It doesn't mean that Islam or Christianity, they don't have rules for societies to be built upon. No, they do have rules, but these rules are more clarified between people, between dealings or treatments with people in daily life. How would I deal with my neighbor? How would I treat my, let's say, co-workers? Islam and Christianity, they do organize life very well. And as we said, real religion is reflected through treatment, enlightened treatment. And this has to be done actually and separated from the political practice or the political differences.
Doctor, away from the political stance or the political ongoing events, how we as individuals can create an environment to coexist as Muslims and Christians in the same society with no problems and no clashes, away from politics and away from economic problems?
As I said before, the idea of spreading awareness. Let's say, for example, that we can have some...
As individuals?
Yeah, as individuals.
Yeah.
Schools, starting from very early age, like the primary schools or something like that. Universities, they can something like organize campaigns from young people or children,
Yes.
both of them Muslims and Christians, and they go and visit Muslim families and Christian families, congratulating them. Let's say we can use this special occasion, you know that inshallah January the 7th will be the Eastern Christmas. So we can have some picnics, joining both Muslim children and Christian children, go and congratulate people everywhere because of the New Year and the Eastern Christmas. This is something which can be done through families and in schools and universities. Let's spread, I don't want to say the old spirit, but let's spread the real spirit again.
Unfortunately, sometimes we feel that it is because of our officials or men in powers that this spirit has been created. I mean, if we just go back and think, as you mentioned, can we do this just citizens along with each other, away from rules, away from politicians, people in charge? Do you agree with me in this or
I
not?
totally agree. I totally agree. And I believe this is the role, for example, of clubs, social clubs. Clubs like big clubs like, for example, the shooting club, and small clubs in each district. They can spread awareness. They can organize campaigns. They can join Muslims and Christians in activities together again. And people like us, for example, in your episodes, in my classes, wherever we can, we have to talk and to spread this type of real spirit. We have to talk about Egyptians as Egyptians. Let's not using the word Muslims and Christians. Let's use the word Egyptians all the time in our talk. Let's tell people to do so because we represent somehow role models that people might look up at and try to imitate. So let's use words like Egyptians all the time, humans all the time, and let's do these activities in clubs, in social clubs.
Especially when a person speaks or something or deliver a statement, it doesn't mean that he reflects all Muslims or
Yes,
all
you are
Christians.
totally right. Yes, you're totally right. I totally agree with you.
So let's start right away, and we'll be talking about the Egyptians now.
Yeah.
What about the moments of unity that created the unity between the Egyptians? Can you mention some of them throughout the history?
Yeah, thank you for using Egyptians.
Yes.
Okay, you are applying so fast. This is great. Maybe one of the most recent moments that joined Egyptians together, the moments when they were in Tahrir Square through the revolution of 25th of January. Egyptians were praying, some of them were protecting others, and some of them were helping others to pray. So they were Egyptians together, and they were praying to God in their different ways, accepted by God. All of the religious buildings, whether mosques or churches, are used to, for example, protect people, treat people. So no difference, no barriers. This is all imaginary.
And also remember that churches and mosques also were open to treat both, regardless.
Yes.
Egyptian person was
Yes.
injured, he entered wherever,
Yes.
it's God's house to take his treatment.
Yes, you are totally right.
How do you see the future? Talking about 2013 in this respect.
Well, let me start to be somehow optimistic. Somehow optimistic. But we really need that idea of spreading certain type of awareness. Awareness that is based on real understanding and enlightening people about the real essence of religions. Because Egypt is the land of all religions. So let's start talking to people about the essence of the three religions, the three divine religions. And the core is that we have to love each other. We have to deal with each other as brothers and sisters, neighbors. We can never differentiate between people. So let's start applying these activities. Let's start spreading this message, and inshallah the future will be better.
Dr. Sarah Naggar, the assistant teacher at Cairo University, the American University in Cairo, and the Islamic presenter for non-Muslims. Thank you very much for being
Thank
with
you.
us today
Yeah.
on my
Thank you.
cruise.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.
Thank you.
Now it's time for a quick break, and we'll be right back again with you. So stay tuned.